y'all, this is Jamie. It's getting close to Christmas, even though it might be 85 degrees here in Texas. But I've had a request for a pie recipe, and really a pie is only as good as the pie crust. So we're going to start out making a gluten-free pie crust today. I'm going to walk you step by step through it, and the first thing we're going to do is start with our ingredients. All right, because gluten-free flours don't have any stretch to them, we need to add some stretch or else it's just going to be a crumbly mess. We're going to do that by starting out with a generous half cup of water, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of golden flax meal to it. And I'm not being real crazy about if I'm getting an exact measurement here. I'm just doing it. All right, so here we go. I've got the 2 tablespoons of flax meal in there. I'm going to stir it up, and I'm just going to let this sit. What we want to do is kind of let it turn into what I would call a gelatinous goo. Now, I know that doesn't sound very appetizing, but believe me, you need it for this. All right, while that's sitting, just kind of becoming gelatinous, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the butter and the other ingredients that are going to go in this lovely green bowl. Okay, so here we go. Here is the butter, and I am putting not quite a whole stick. Again, I'm not really getting too crazy with the measurement. I'm doing right between 6 and 7 tablespoons. If it helps you out, 1 stick of butter, which is a half cup of butter, is 8 tablespoons. So we don't want a whole stick. That's just too much. What I've found happens if you use a whole stick of butter or more in there, because, you know, we love butter, is that the gluten-free flour doesn't really absorb it well, and it starts to bubble out into the oven and burn. And we're really not going for burnt pie. So anyway, I've got the butter in here. I'm going to add 1 egg to that. I'll just put this over here. All right, I'm going to add 1 egg. And then I'm going to go ahead and measure my salt in my hand. It's about a teaspoon. Put that in there with the butter. All right. And 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar. You don't need to use apple cider vinegar. It's what I have right now. So that's what we're putting in here. All right. Now, I'm going to spend just a minute whisking this together and making a mess. So what I'm finding out is it doesn't really want to whisk well. So I think I need to add something to this. My butter's too hard. Okay, so I need to add something to it to make it work better. We're going to go ahead because of that, and we're going to try adding 1 cup of flour. Are you loving the way I cook? Because it's kind of freaking me out. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and add 1 of flour to that. I'm thinking in the past that maybe what I've done is melted that stick of butter. Did not do that today. Oh, look, here we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now what I'm probably going to have to do is get my fingers in there and make a real big mess. But anyway, you see how it's kind of sticking to the whisk? It would have been better if the butter was a little softer, and you could melt the butter all the way first. Now, if you've been someone who made a traditional pie crust, and by traditional, I mean the one that has gluten in it, you would have always started out with really cold butter, and you'd be cutting it into the flour. It's not really necessary here. We're not concerned about activating gluten in flour because there's no gluten in our flour. We're using rice flour. All right, this is starting to come together, and it's still a little bit of a mess, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to add, let's see, a little bit more of this liquid. Okay, now here is, you can see how it's getting thick. This is the kind of gloppy, oh, here's my son. Say hi, Chip.
Hey.
This is my kind of gloppy mess, my gelatinous goo that I've made. It's the golden flax meal. Remember the 2 tablespoons mixed with the generous half cup of water. We're going to pour a little bit of that in here, and we're going to see what happens when we stir it together. Alrighty, it's coming together into a big lump, so we must be doing something right. All right, let's go ahead and add the rest of that in here. Y'all are probably going, people actually eat the food this woman cooks? Yes, people do eat this food because they're hungry. Alrighty, here we go. And because I'm not picky, you know, I guess I didn't raise my family to be picky because they just kind of had to take it or leave it. So anyway, this is looking pretty gooey now. I'll show you what it looks like at this stage. Okay, can you see that what's in the bowl? Yeesh, kind of a mess. All right, now we're back here. You're back with me. It's getting mixed up. It's looking better and better. Let's see. Looks like I've got all the ingredients in here, and I'm mixing, and I'm mixing, and I'm mixing. And I am now getting all this nasty mess off of here. Nasty mess. Did I just say that on my video? Obviously not a professional. Okay, but you get what you get. All right, so we're gonna add 1 more cup of flour. Did I add the second cup of flour? I hope not. If I did, well, we really are gonna have a mess. So here's the second cup of flour. Maybe I'll get crazy and actually put the recipe to where you can see it on here. It's a novel idea. All right, so I've got most of the gloppy mess of butter, egg, vinegar, salt, flax meal, water off of the whisk. Not quite all of it, but we're getting there. All right, not too bad. All right, now I'm going to use my wooden spoon to finish stirring this together. And in just a minute, believe it or not, I am going to show you how to roll out this pie crust. And we're going to hope that it's beautiful. And if it's not beautiful, that's okay, because we're going to remember that it's going to taste awesome. And it's not going to make anyone sick because it's gluten-free. All right, while this is coming together, and it really is getting mixed up well now. So well, in fact, that I think I'm going to get my hands in it and turn it into a ball of dough. I want to show you a couple of things about what I'm using here. Now, I know like if this were a real cooking show kind of thing, that they would never show you the ingredients, but I'm going to show you because I believe it makes a difference. All right, I like Bob's Red Mill rice flour. Brown rice or the white rice, either one works pretty well. But most of the other brands I've tried, they don't, they're kind of gritty. And you don't want gritty pie or cake or anything else. So we want to kind of stick with something that is going to be good. All right, now I'm going to show you, if you can kind of look into this bowl, you see this is a little bit, it's looking more like pie crust, but not too much. So I am going to use my hands. And you're just going to have to trust me that they're clean, but lucky you, you're not eating this. All right, I'm going to see if this turns into a ball when I get my hands in it. We're almost there, but maybe not quite. We don't want this dough to be sticky, but you can see it's still a little bit crumbly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, just a little bit at a time, about a teaspoon of water. We don't want to add too much because then we'll have a really sticky mess and we got to start adding flour and eesh, you don't want to go there. All right, so here we are. Look, okay, this is what my ball of dough looks like. Oops, throwing some dough at you. Okay, it is all sticking together, but it's not so thin and sticky that it's sticking to my hands. All right, in just a minute, I am going to show you how to roll this out. But first, I'm going to take a tiny break and wash my hands. Okay,